Ladies and gentlemen, set.
Christ, we rise, break the screen, burn the lie, banner of Christ, we rise, banner of Christ, banner of Christ.
Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? So,
When the night tried to wear his face, we stood fast in the ruined place. No rage, no pride, just sacred flame. One king, one truth, one holy name. Banner of Christ, we ride. Banner of Christ, we rise. Chains will shatter, crowns will die. try to wear his face. We stood fast in the ruined place. No rage, no pride, just sacred flame. One king, one truth, one holy name. Banner of Christ, we ride. Banner of Christ, we rise. Chains will shatter, crowds will die. Banner of Christ, we ride. Banner of end to end. Every road and river name burns like iron in our veins. Hear the call, the signal rise from the coast to mountain skies. When the shadows try to land, we stand. America, hold the line. America, tonight is mine. Tactical Templar, online, guard the flame, defend the line. America, hold the line. America, we rise, we rise. Tactical Templar, online, steal the hearts, defend the light. In the grid of a million screens, he moves like a ghost through code and beams. A chrome cross night with a focused eye, breaking down every false disguise. Spam wars flood the open gate. He reads the lies, he seals the breach. Every threat that tries to crawl meets a wall, meets a wall. Hear the call, the signal rise from the coast to mountain skies. When the shadows try to land, we stand. America, hold the line. America, tonight is mine. Tactical Templar, online, guard the flame, defend the light. America, hold the line. America, we rise, we rise. Tactical Templar, online, steal the heart, defend the light. In the dark of the midnight feed, he plants truth like a battle creed. No surrender, no retreat, just the thunder under his feet. From the screen to the steadfast shore, he stands for the things we're fighting for. One nation loud and alive. We endure, we survive. America, hold the line. America, tonight is mine. Tactical Templar, online, guard the flame, defend the light. America, hold the line. America, we rise, we rise. Tactical Templar, online, steal the heart, defend the light. Hold the line. We rise, we rise, we rise, we rise. Tactical Templar, defend the light. Morning breaks on the interstate. Steel birds cut the pale blue haze. From the farms to the harbor gates, one bright flag in a million ways. Hands that build and hands that mend. Hard-won miles from end to end. Every
brothers, welcome back to the show. I'm so glad that you guys are here today. And guys, it is hump day. That's right. It is Wednesday. It is the middle of the week. It is halfway to the weekend, technically. So, You know, I can't ask how your weekend is yet, but give it a couple days and we'll be there. Guys, I'm so glad to be with you today. I can't even begin to tell you how blessed I am to be able to come and vent my frustrations and irritations and all that stuff with you guys. And I'm incredibly grateful. And we have a lot to talk about, guys. From gaming news to the DSA got absolutely clobbered, absolutely skunked. Guys, you are not going to want to miss this show. This is must see television. And so, we need to talk about, in gaming news, we need to talk about what's going on with BioWare. Remember BioWare? Remember how it used to be a game company? It used to be at least semi-respected. Well, I just came across a development that I haven't heard anyone talking about that I think is a pretty big deal. So we're going to be discussing that. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be going over what's going on with Hassan Piker, because that's been a disaster for the last couple of days. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, the DSA lost, and it was in a humiliating blowout, and we're going to look at all of that as well. Also, today is Warhammer 40K Bond Day, the War Bond on Helldivers 2. So we're going to be taking a look at that. I got a jam-packed show for you guys. So let's go. Now, for those that are new here, the way that it works is if you donate on YouTube, if you donate $5 and up, super chat, then the message will be read text to speech. So $5 and up, messages on YouTube, they'll be read text to speech. So it'll basically play pomp and circumstance, fireworks, confetti, and then it will read your message. It's just a way, if you want to contribute to the channel and you also want to be part of the conversation, it's a way that you can do that. There's no obligation to donate, but it is very much appreciated. It allows me to do some very cool things, but again, the way that I run my channel is very different from other content creators like DSP or, the Quartering, where they basically treat the audience like they are a piggy bank. I don't. I say if you want to donate and support the channel, I would appreciate it. The channel would appreciate it, but there's no obligation to. That's my pitch in the beginning, and then we don't usually talk about it. But yeah, we're going to be going over a lot of stuff today. One of the things out of nowhere, but I think does need to be discussed, and this is going to be rather funny because one of the running jokes in my chat is there are, certain people that are trolls. Let's just be perfectly honest. They're trolls. They come in here and they spam KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. They say it over and over because they want me to play Knights of the Old Republic and I have to say no. And so they keep doing that. I don't mind. It's harmless. But one of the videos that we have to do today is about Knights of the Old Republic. That's right. I am going to be doing a Knights of the Old Republic video, but we're not going to be playing the game per se. But we're going to be talking about that very subject because I noticed something as I was doing a little bit of work, and I don't know how long this has been going on. I'd be very interested to see. But it is very, very fascinating. There's been a major, major, major change. Let's see. How long has not had? How long ago Replace BioWare. Okay, so we're gonna ask the question. We're gonna see, we're gonna see how long ago this change happened. Oh man. Wow. That was a long time ago. I didn't even know. I didn't even know. That's crazy. Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about it. Is SWTOR? No, that's not the main problem. You guys will see. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Brothers, I decided to do something that I haven't done in many years, and that was check out the game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO. So basically, it's just called Star Wars the Old Republic. I haven't played this game in many, many years, and so I was unfamiliar with any of the changes that have been going on in this particular game. And that's what we're going to talk about today because, wow, that was kind of shocking. You see, Knights of the Old Republic is one of the premier games from BioWare. BioWare made Knights of the Old Republic what it is. I know that Obsidian made Knights of the Old Republic too, but when people think about Knights of the Old Republic, they think of BioWare. And that was true not only of the first game, but of the MMO. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, that was, BioWare's, its cash cow in the beginning, and Star Wars the Old Republic, the MMO. So I decided, for the first time in years, I was going to log in and see what the current state of the game was. Now, the thing that shocked me, and I'm going to show you right here. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, unfortunately, the way that the character is, the way okay, I didn't anticipate that. That was poor. All right, take it from the top. Now the character's got to be on the other side. I didn't realize. Character's got to be on the other side. Character's got to be on the other side, and then we've got to move this thing up so people can see the bottom. That's the most important thing right now is seeing the bottom, because that's the money shot. Okay. Brothers, so I decided to do something that I haven't done in many years, and that was log into Star Wars The Old Republic. Now, I probably haven't played this game in, I would say, probably like 4 or 5 years. And last I remember, this game was, it was very good, but it was put on by BioWare. BioWare was the company that was really behind this game. The development was BioWare. And that made sense because BioWare was synonymous with Knights of the Old Republic. The Knights of the Old Republic was the baby of BioWare. Even though Obsidian is the one that made Knights of the Old Republic 2, people still associate Knights of the Old Republic with BioWare. And so Star Wars The Old Republic, which is the MMO, that also was associated with BioWare. However, there has been a fundamental change, and it was one that I wasn't particularly aware of. And I'm going to show you right now. So if you look at the bottom, it was very quick. It's very quick. We can watch again as I click on this server. If you look at the quarter, you notice it says EA, Lucasfilm, and Broadsword. Broadsword. That used to say BioWare. BioWare has been cut out completely of the Old Republic. Now, the reason why that's significant is, imagine that they decided to make an MMO from, Elden Ring. And initially FromSoft was making that MMO. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. FromSoft is removed from the project. You never hear, anything to do with FromSoft. And just an intrinsic part of that game is just removed. Yeah, it would be a little bit shocking, and that's essentially what we have here. So, I thought this was very interesting, so I wanted to go and I wanted to see what the game was like, what the current health of the game was like. Obviously, there are not many people playing this game, which is probably why they put it in, basically like recovery mode. There aren't very many people playing it, but it was very interesting. It was very, very interesting to watch this game. Play it after not having experienced it for years. And I mean, I still, they took away a lot of the reputation that I had and a lot of the things that, I built up, but a lot of the collections are still there. I still got cool armor with, lightsaber, all that stuff's neat. But it's just, BioWare's dead. Like, you knew that it was true, but it's another thing to be like, okay, well, I mean, this game that was BioWare's baby, like, it no longer is in the hands of BioWare. So to see that in real time, it's like, like somebody's sick. You know somebody's sick, but seeing it and experiencing it is a different thing. So I thought that was fascinating to observe, because I mean, who would have thought that BioWare would be kicked off the game that they made famous? And I don't necessarily want to get into a talk about wokeness and identity politics, but I think I kind of have to, because one of the primary reasons that this company failed, that this game failed, is they started prioritizing things that didn't matter over things that did. So one of the reasons why Knights of the Old Republic was so good was because the chemistry, the characters, the story, the way it was told, the way that you could get like these character quests, like all of it was just masterfully done. And even in this game, Knights of the Old, Star Wars: The Old Republic, even this game, it was very, very well done. But BioWare no longer exists the way that we remember it, the way that the company was. And I look at it and it's just, here's the thing, and some people don't like it when I glaze Nintendo, but I want you to imagine that, there's a Legend of Zelda game. Like, imagine that Nintendo made The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and then the Ocarina of Time remake comes around, and Nintendo's no longer involved. Like, that is how shocking this is. They're no longer involved. BioWare is nowhere to be seen in any of the the titles, any of that. Now it's Broadsword. And so I looked it up and I asked, how long has this been going on? For 3.5 years. For 3.5 years. It's crazy. For 3.5 years, BioWare has had nothing to do with this. So what is even BioWare doing? They're not a company anymore. They're not even a brand anymore. They've been reduced to nothing, to garbage. And that's why I wanted to do this video. I don't usually do videos like this necessarily, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second. I got to take this. Okay, thank you. Damn. That was important. That was important. Oh man. But I gotta start over. Yeah. I apologize, guys. I do apologize. But we get to do it. We get to do it all over again. Damn it. Brothers, it used to be the case that BioWare, the video game company that set the golden standard back probably 20 years ago, they have been removed from a game called Star Wars Knights of the Old... Oh, okay, no. Give me one more shot. Brothers, the video game giant used to be... No, come on. No. I'm usually good at doing it one clip. I don't know what's up today. I don't know why I need to find the eye of the tiger. Usually when I do these videos, I can do it in one take. I can just do it seamlessly, flawlessly. There's never a problem. And then maybe I get a text message. It throws me out my game. But you know what? The number one thing is perseverance. Perseverance. Never giving up. Allowing yourself to say, you know what, that's not right, and then doing it again. You know, even if we're left with nobody watching, I'll still be doing the video to try to get it right. So I do apologize, but you know what? We remain determined to get it right. And you know what? These are things that are worth trying again on. So that's what we're going to do one more time. Brothers, it used to be that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was synonymous with the game developer BioWare. It was really the goose that laid the golden egg. BioWare became, rather famous for Jade Empire, but it wasn't until Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect that they really became more like a household name in the gaming space. So it's very unsettling to see that BioWare is basically dead at this point. They've been scrubbed from most of the IPs that they helped to make popular. And I have an example of that. You see, I happened to log into Star Wars The Old Republic for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years. And what I noticed was very odd. What I noticed was there was another company that had taken BioWare's spot. And it's a company called Broadsword. Now, I got to admit, I didn't know what Broadsword was. I mean, especially when I'm looking for BioWare's name, I see EA, I see LucasArts, but I don't see BioWare. And that's the reality. BioWare is gone and has been gone from this game for the past 3.5 years. I looked it up. It was in 2023 that they were removed. Now, the reason for me why that's so shocking is because I want you to imagine for a second. I want you to imagine that you see a game like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. And you're going, oh yeah, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Yeah, sure. And then you find out that Nintendo has nothing to do with it. That they weren't invited to be part of it. Now, you'd be shocked. You'd be saying, "What the hell? What do you mean Nintendo was not part of this?" It's the game that BioWare made famous, that put on the map. And yet, at this point, now they're not even considered to be relevant enough to have their name on the card. Isn't that crazy? And now there's another company, and they fundamentally changed this game. And so many, I've noticed a ton of changes. I don't know for the better or the worse. I'm just sort of remaking a character to start at level 1 to see what it's like. But man, oh man, is that just a startling change. That one of the primary companies that was involved in creating Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars The Old Republic, that company is so irrelevant and so untrusted by EA that they've just basically been removed from their own project. So I did want to talk about this because for me, BioWare used to be the golden standard of gaming. They used to be one of the big three. You had Bethesda, you had Blizzard, and you had BioWare. And these companies could do no wrong. These companies would create these, not just games, they'd create these experiences. They'd create these things where it wasn't just you played a game. It was you go and you'd stand in line at the midnight release because the new expansion for Warcraft was coming out. You're getting a new Warcraft. So you and all your buddies would be there. All the nerds would be there. It was an event. It was an experience. BioWare, I was going to Bethesda, but BioWare, they would have, games like Dragon Age Origins, which was something that at the time was just really, really awesome. Like a fantasy style RPG that was dark and gritty, and it was amazing. But I think BioWare unfortunately fell victim to a lot of the things that we're seeing today, which is the staff got bigger and bigger, both in terms of number and the poundage. A lot of these fat women getting into these positions. I do think that played a role, that you had a lot of these fatties that were in there. HR got in there. A lot of these woke activists got in there, and unfortunately, over time, it does have a deteriorating effect, where you have people that are not really interested in creating cool Star Wars. They want to create characters like Tosh. Tosh, for those that don't remember, was the freak non-binary character that was this mannish-looking gargoyle that everyone hated. Everyone hated this character because they looked like a freak. They were obnoxious, they were rude, they were off-putting. The entire world seemed to pander to this person. And frankly, I think you should have been able to kill Tosh a lot earlier. But no, they didn't want to do that. What they wanted to do is they wanted to make it seem like, well, this is the character that you should be rooting for, this is the character you should be supporting. And the answer was no. I think there was way too much of that. I think there was way too much pandering to a mentally ill modern audience that doesn't really exist. And unfortunately, the result of that is the company began to stagnate, and they were hiring worse and worse people, became less and less focused on gaming, and that seems to be the result, that the company is now so dead, they can't even be brought up in the credits for a game that they made. That is something else, isn't it?
He should be resting in the Jedi Temple.
So I've been playing this. It does feel similar to what I remember.
Give him the last of the Kolto if you have to. We'll fight again
But
soon.
like, there does feel like something's missing. And I don't know, maybe that's just me
want to lie about
remembering
you.
the way that
You're
it
lucky Those
was.
creatures haven't caught you yet.
I haven't
But it's
encountered
just-
a creature yet that could stop me.
I'm looking at this and
Didn't
it's
take
just,
us either. And let me tell you,
it
they
makes
tried.
me, it makes me sad a little
Seeking
bit.
knowledge
I'll be
of the
honest.
Jedi Code.
I'm glad that
Flesh
there are
Eaters
mass layoffs
interrupted
going
our
on in the
trial.
gaming industry.
Never
Because
felt
the
like that
people in the
my
gaming
life.
industry today,
Killed
the
it,
game
and
devs,
Jared was
don't
badly
deserve the job they have. They absolutely do not deserve that.
One flesh
Because
creature
they have squandered every opportunity. They've alienated
Not
fans.
warriors.
What they did,
Besides,
you know,
it's not
the
the
gaming
Jedi
industry,
way to
what they
seek
did to
revenge.
Gamergate and
That's
these
your opinion,
consumer
Matthias. It's
movements
not what we
was
decided.
absolutely disgraceful.
Believe it or
Now
not,
they're
a bunch of animals
reaping
won't
the
keep us from
whirlwind.
becoming
They're
Jedi.
dealing with the
This is
benefits of
true.
that.
Jedi
You know,
don't
the
give up,
benefits in
do they?
quotations.
She is wrong.
But
Remember the Jedi Code.
That's enough. You want to help?
look at this.
All right. Let's teach those
The
monsters
fact
to
that
stay out of
BioWare
town.
isn't even
Here's what we
the
need. If you can take the
Paragon
Flesh
and
Raiders head
Renegade
on, we
system
can
is
come
one
around
that
and flank
they
them.
made.
When you're
Like,
finished, let the
yeah,
ones
of
that
course
can't go
there
with
were
back.
things
It just may
before,
take
but
us a while.
really
The Force
with
be
Mass
with you.
Effect and stuff, the whole Renegade Paragon system became culturally relevant. And so my reason for doing this video, my reason for talking about it is just to elucidate the fact that the gaming industry has changed more than we think. And some of the names that used to be giants don't mean anything. They mean nothing. BioWare's name is mud. They don't have the reputation. They don't have, like, they have nothing. And I know that some people will say, well, this is years old. Like, you know, why are you doing a video on it now? Well, why now? Well, it's because, you know, sort of like you put on the glasses and you see the signs, you see the aliens. Well, I hadn't played this game for years. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing BioWare removed. And I know that there are going to be some people that say, well, good, they should be removed. And you know what? I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you because of what BioWare has become. But I still mourn what BioWare was, what it represented. I still remember my first time playing Mass Effect and Dragon Age Origins, and how impressed I was with those games. And playing Jade Empire, and playing Knights of the Old Republic. The fact is that the company that made those, and they still technically exist, but it's in name only. BioWare is dead, and you know what? LGBTQ, far left, race, communist politics killed it. It absolutely did. And I can only hope that people take that seriously and make it a point to never allow communists or far left progressives to take any sort of control, either in terms of government or in terms of institutions, the arts. I hope that people remember this and they never give these people an inch. Never give them an inch. This video is a funeral for a once great company because a bunch of mentally ill, subhuman, degenerate freaks, a bunch of godless, atheistic vermin, thought that their personal politics and pronouns and their sexual orientation was more important than keeping the legacy and prestige of these games going. And you should never let them live that down. So this video is a memorial to BioWare, a company that was once great, a company that once stood for the very best in storytelling, in RPG mechanic. Like, it was just so much fun. And now they've been reduced so far, they're not even on the title of a game that they made.
Padawans are a bit shaky, but they're
They
alive.
made this game.
That's brave of them.
That was a use.
It may you probably.
Man. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Upload this. We mourn. What once was. Okay, perfect. All right, boys. I just wanted to get that done. Yeah, I felt compelled to do that. You know, I was kind of sad. Like I was. I was kind of sad to see what they had done to our boy. What they had done to our boy. It's just is depressing. Anyway, we're gonna close out. We're gonna close out that game. But we do have some good news, as it were. We do have some good news, as it were. Yeah, Helldivers. Yeah, Helldivers. It got an update. So we're going to be talking about Helldivers. Helldivers. Can I get some love for Helldivers too? That's right, boys. We're going to be playing a little bit of Helldivers later on. But I just wanted to real quick go in and see if we couldn't get this I want to see if we couldn't get this war bond. That's what I want to do right now. I want to go get the war bond. Never made sense to make someone who only worked on The Sims now work on Dragon Age. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, huh? Okay. How about we get into some, let's see. Make sure I got that. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a look at whether or not I can get this war bond. If this thing is gonna load. What is happening? I do not know what's happening. Oh. Just taking a minute. Okay. All right, boys. Let's see if we can get this war bond. Why is it going so slow? What the heck? We are aware of crash issues for PC players, and we're working to isolate and fix the problem. What? We apologize. Oh, man. So they're crashing. Super merch? Oh, gosh. Yeah, no thank you. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I need to buy it for 10. I can't get a free. I can't get a free. Oh, come on. It's 1,500. 1,500 credits. Huh. Do I really want this war bond that badly? Do I really want it that badly? That's a good question. Do I even want this war bond that badly? I don't know. I mean, the bolt pistol seems like it might be good. You know what? I don't... Oh, melt-a-gun. That's nice. That's nice. I do like the melt-a-gun. That is pretty cool. That's not. Yeah, then you need medals too. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on getting this. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off. I mean, look, I'm looking at this going 15. It would cost me $15 for this one war bond, and I'm not even in love with it. Yeah, you know what? I'm too frugal with my money. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people are gonna get that, but I'm just not interested. No thanks. But what I will do is see. Do they have a... No. Nope, they don't have a Superstore version. All right. Well, short segment. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do there. Yeah, we're going to pass. We're not going to get the war bond. We're not going to get the war bond, boys. You know, that's... I'm looking at that, and that's like 15 to 20 bucks. You know, that 15 to 20 bucks, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, you know, I just, yeah, I don't, I mean, you know, come on, guys. You know how frugal I am. Anyway. All right, we do have a lot to talk about, though. We do have a lot to go through. But guys, you're going to be glad that you tuned in today, because we may go back and look at you know, we may go back and look at, you know, what's going on in Helldivers. But the reason you're going to be glad that you tuned in is because I have a nice piece of real estate. Oh man, it's some of the best. Everyone says it's the best. I have something to show you. Okay? We went through the EDP 445 situation. All right? We went over the full documentary. Somebody randomly cheated, hacked the game, and I got like 1,000 super credits on a dive with them. Yeah, it's great. W. Guys, you are going to be so glad you tuned in, because I have a special video. This is Gideon. You may or may not recognize this person. Gideon was in the EDP 445 documentary. And by the way, the people that are part of like the Predator Poachers and Gideon, they have been crashing out ever since. They have been crashing out because Predator Poachers, especially, that guy has been going off because people are pointing out the fact that it was his incompetence and his blundering that made it possible for EDP to not be arrested. So, I do think that is pretty shocking. The fact is that you have this person that's obviously they're obviously sending underage girls pictures and texting them, they're admitting to it. You have videos of them, jerking off, like disgusting, sending pictures of their poop. You have all that evidence. And yet you mess it up because you were the one to reach out. You didn't contact any sort of professional before doing this? No, of course not. Because this fat, arrogant ginger freak thought he knew best. Obviously he didn't. He prioritized content over actually getting to the truth, which would have led to EDP just going to jail, which is what we all wanted. We wanted EDP to go to jail. Some people wanted to step beyond that, which I can understand, but God will work that out. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to be doing a video on Gideon, because I think this is going to be rather interesting. Brothers, the other day on stream, we did a full reaction to the EDP 445 documentary. And I know that myself and my chat are still dealing with the PTSD of that, because that was an absolutely horrific, disgusting display. And one of the things that people have picked up on, not only that EDP is an absolute monster, but that the people that were part of the predator hunters, these sort of online content creator, pedophile vigilantes, that a lot of cases, these people are just incompetent, or they're equally gross. They're equally gross to the people that are, they're going after. And in the case of Gideon, boy, oh boy, did that documentary not do him any favors. Because Gideon was pushing underage girls to keep contacting EDP 445. And in this, apparently, I haven't watched the whole thing, but apparently, from the clips that I saw, this guy Gideon is encouraging EDP to join his Discord that has underage girls in it. Why? Now, you may remember Gideon from his now infamous clip, which is him getting arrested and then telling the cop that he's a millionaire. I'm a millionaire, don't you know? I'm a millionaire. Yeah, basically saying he's going to take the cop's job. But, embarrassing. Here we go. Okay. Let me give you a little, let me give you a little teaser, a little amuse-bouche of what I'm talking about and what's going on here. Well, we'll use a clip from our
McDonald's does not want you on the property. You guys have to leave. You're gonna be...
Who's you guys? Can you be more specific?
You.
So they said these people?
Him, yes. You guys cannot be on the property.
Hey!
Or they're gonna arrest you.
Do you guys want some McDonald's? Y'all want to go inside real quick?
You're gonna be arrested for trespassing if you go in there.
Bro, you don't have any, no offense, officer, but do you genuinely have nothing better to do?
Do you have anything better to do?
Officer, you're actually supposed to protect and serve.
All right, get off the property. You guys are gonna be arrested for trespassing.
Okay, we'll leave the property, but I'm just trying to figure out, do you have anything better to do? Because this is
Yeah, they told you earlier that they don't want you guys on the property, so you guys gotta leave.
Because you've been camping out there for 20 minutes, wasting taxpayer dollars.
I'm there for about 5. You guys need to leave.
So we've got a dishonest, hyper emotional, low impulse control, just extraordinarily low IQ individual that is, getting into an altercation with cops when they were obviously called there because, there was an incident going down at a place of business. And yeah, this guy is disrupting business and he's being a nuisance, and now he's getting argumentative with the cops. This guy's an absolute idiot. So that gives you a general taste of the type of person that we're dealing with. But I wanted to play this. There's another clip when he does get arrested that really sort of puts this all into perspective about the type of guy and the mentality that he has.
Their move.
Let's see if there's some McJoes in there. Chat, man, is this what you want your tax dollars to go to? Cops camping out at a McDonald's to protect the squatter. He's in there?
I've got to say that I actually do agree with the police on this, because like it's not really about McDonald's or Joe, or sorry, it's not about Joe or Jadeon or anything, but like, I mean, the McDonald's doesn't have to just kind of be this, you know, ongoing like camera filming spot, right? Like I mean, McDonald's at the end of the day, like they're...
Listen, McDonald's is not a PvP server, okay? McDonald's is not a place for you to go and air out all your grievances. It's just not. So if you treat McDonald's like a PvP server, you're going to get booted.
Absolutely.
Working. Like there are laws that's like basically, are you causing a problem? And if the answer is yes, they can just arrest you and detain you. Like they have a lot of these.
Absolutely.
Now you're yelling. Disorderly.
You're under arrest for being disorderly.
Freedom of speech. You can yell on the sidewalk.
Sitting here causing a scene.
On the sidewalk.
Yep.
So you can't yell?
You see what we're dealing with here. I think this video is very important. Asmongold absolutely gets it.
Anything I need to know about?
Officer, how fast do you think this is gonna get dropped? Do you really think this is gonna stick? Do you guys really think this is gonna stick? Do you want to waste your DA's time? I am a multi-millionaire.
I am a multi-millionaire.
Promise you, I can take this as far as you want. Officer, you will be in a deposition and you will be arrested. This is
There.
Anyway, all right. Yeah, you will be a deposition, officer. You will be arrested. I'm a multi-millionaire. Like I said, this is a low IQ, low impulse control animal. And the thing is, there will be some content creators like, oh, I like Gideon. No, this guy demonstrated his true colors in this moment. Classless, arrogant, belligerent, and also without any sort of real judgment. And that's where we get into today's video, because this guy decided to do a my side video about what's going on with the, EDP 445 documentary. And boy, oh boy, is this more low IQ, low impulse control behavior from what I've seen.
I want to address some claims that have been going on for a while, and I also want to address some claims that were made specifically from Kayla in the new Mike Klum documentary about EDP, and I want to give context and clear up things, but in no way do I want any hate to be sent towards Kayla. Even though there are lies being said about me, I wish nothing but the best for her, and I ask that none of you guys send any hate to her whatsoever at all. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
I feel like I was a victim of EDP, but mainly a victim of Jadeon. They collectively never once told me to go straight to law enforcement. I feel like I am a victim of Jadeon because he encouraged me to keep talking to a pedophile. They also instructed me to keep messaging EDP, which was incredibly draining. Yes, Jadeon was encouraging me to continue messaging him. I wasn't allowed to report anything to the cops until the day of the sting. I just think that he should have told me to block EDP, but he didn't. Jadeon on a phone call even told me not to report anything to the police because a private case was being built up behind the scenes. Jadeon is a very selfish, greedy, and a scam artist type of person.
I mean, from what we've seen so far, yeah, it sort of makes sense. Now, we will give him a chance to sort of, give his side of the story, but he's got a lot of work to do. I'll put it that way.
Now, me personally, am I an opportunist? Yes, I am. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So the claims are that I facilitated a predator to come inside of my Discord channel, which allowed Kayla to be groomed. The other claims is that I forced and pressured her into keep on being in contact with EDP. And the third claim is that I forced and demanded that she not go to the police, even though that she was talking to EDP. Okay. So we're going to knock them all out, and I'm going to address everything. So first, let's address the claim that EDP met Kayla from my Discord channel. She was a minor at the time, but now she is 19 years old. So let's address that.
Kayla Hoskins is the victim being referenced in the sting operation, and she's not a decoy. Like Skeeter said, this one is for real. But how did she meet EDP 445? Well, she was a huge fan of Jadeon, and she was in his Discord server. EDP, after being invited by Jadeon to his public server full of children, noticed her profile, found her Instagram connected to it, and messaged her.
Now, the reason why people believe that EDP met her through my Discord is because I was under the impression that's how it happened, and I'm the one who put out the statement that EDP found her through my Discord. When EDP joined my Discord, when he was about to do the interview with us, he didn't join, but he found a girl in my Discord, right? And her.
So at the time, like, you admitted that he found her through your Discord. Are you now going to walk that back and say that that didn't happen?
Discord, she has her Instagram. So EDP, being the Rizzler that he is, he slides into her DMs and he initiates contact with her.
Why do you have underage people in your Discord and EDP? Why do you have somebody like EDP in your Discord at all? I don't know. Like, these are some of the questions that are coming to my mind.
The reason why I gladly took the blame for EDP meeting her through my Discord, because at the time, I truly believed that's how he found her, and I wanted to take accountability for my role in this occurring. But, as it turns out, Kayla herself in the documentary stated that she had already been messaging EDP before I had even ever added him in my own Discord.
My name is Kayla Hoskins, and in June 2023, I received an Instagram DM from EDP445, otherwise known as Bryant. I first replied to EDP because I always reply to anyone who messages me, and I didn't know who he was, but I freaked out because he told me he was, and sooner rather than later he started sending very flirtatious messages. A while later, Jadion added EDP into his Discord filled with kids for a Q&A, and then when I...
But here's the problem. You admitted that you invited EDP into your Discord server. Why did you do that? Why would you do that? You admitted that you invited EDP. So basically what you're trying to do here is say, well, yes, I did invite him, but it's not my fault. Yes, I welcomed, a giant pedo and a freak into my Discord. But no, bro. No. There is no but. You did it. Why was this guy in your Discord server?
Told people like in the server that EDP texted me. Jadion quickly knew about it because his manager told him.
So EDP was added into my Discord server to do an interview on June 21st. And he was banned that same exact day because he never came up to actually do the interview because he wanted to get paid last minute.
Why? Oh my God, this guy's an idiot. Like, you know what a lot of content creators do, Gideon? I'm sure you do. They have a separate Discord server for interviews. You allowed EDP into your Discord where there are children to do an interview? Are you retarded? Why would you allow somebody that you knew was a pedophile into your Discord where you admit that you had underage people? Why would you not create an alternate Discord with nobody else in it but you and EDP? One that you could use to filter people in and out that are doing interviews. You have a pedophile coming to your Discord and you are allowing them in. You have underage people there. You don't see how that's a problem. You don't see how maybe that was a bad decision, an error in judgment, lapse in judgment. You don't think maybe that was bad, that was on you to take, maybe taking accountability. You don't think maybe you should have started with, yes, I invited him in, but it was only for like this period of time. But upon reflection, that was like one of the worst things I could have done. I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. Never going to happen again. I've created another Discord. I never would do this again. Like, at least something. But this is like shocking.
And even though I had 70,000 people in my live stream, I'm not going to pay a pedophile to interview him. Either he wants to interview him or he doesn't.
Why would you knew he was you're admitting you knew. You knew and you let him in your server where there were people under the age of 18. You knew. Gideon, no. Gideon, no. No. He knew and he did it anyway.
So I was not about to pay that man.
All right, my nigga, so here's the deal. We ain't doing no goddamn interview until I'm fucking compensated, my nigga. You feel me? Like, I don't give a fuck. I deserve to be compensated for my motherfucking time, for my efforts, you feel me?
And also, here's the message log of all the things that he said in my Discord. And I know it's a lot of stuff, but yeah, so that's all he said in my Discord. And he was promptly banned that same exact day. Now, on June 23rd, that is the day that Kayla at least went public in my Discord server, telling people in the Discord that EDP was talking to her. She was saying, hey, is this the real EDP account? Because if it is, he just messaged me. Now, I know you guys are saying, Jadeon, that says deleted user. How do you know that that's her? Well, we did a lot of digging through the Discord server, and this is some evidence to show that it's her because we have old screenshots and everything. But to fully show you that this deleted user is her, she actually posted a photo of her ID photo on the Discord server saying how much she hated her photo. So yeah, this is for sure her. Keep in mind, she's the only one who alleges that EDP hit her up from my Discord server. Nobody else has ever came out saying that EDP hit them up from my Discord server. So out of the 130,000 people, she was the only one. And she goes public with it 2 days later after we did the interview with EDP, and she's telling the Discord that EDP is talking with her. So one of the members in my Discord said, send a screenshot. And for some reason, Kayla says, I'll send one real zoomed in for you. And she zooms it in only on the sup that he said. And to show that this really is him, when she showed us the messages, as you guys can see, EDP said sup. Now, I am going to be real. I do not 100% know if anything was said before that sup. I am going to go off of her word. She says that EDP hit her up first, but I do find it a little weird that she zoomed in on that sup when someone asked for a screenshot. Now, when she first went public in my Discord server about talking to EDP, random members in my server were telling her to block him, telling her to get away, report him, and just telling her to just stop being in contact with him because he's a predator. And every time somebody would tell her something about stop communicating with him, she never replied to those comments. She also made these posts in the Discord asking users if she should troll him. And then she also puts in there, should I be a decoy? Should I do a catch a predator? Nobody replied to that message. Now, keep in mind, all these messages that she had posted in my Discord were nearly 2 weeks before I even knew about the situation.
When I told people like in the server that EDP texted me, Jadeon quickly knew about it because his manager told him.
And also, I have no idea how long they were talking previous to when she put these messages in my Discord server. I just can't confirm that. Now, fast forward on June 28th, so this is 5 days after she first went public in my Discord server saying that she was talking to EDP. She was telling users in my public VC of a Discord of 130,000 people that she was talking to EDP. And this is what the users in that VC told her when she was telling them that she was talking to a predator and that she's underage.
In the text messages, do you state your age?
Yes.
Okay,
like
good.
clearly and multiple times?
Yeah.
And he like, yeah, I mean, that's straight up
It's
wild.
insane.
You can just send this
He
shit
keeps
to the FBI
asking
tip
me-
line if you want.
And again, after all of these people told her that she should stop talking with him and go to law enforcement, she just never responded to them.
I mean, what are you gonna do from here? You're gonna like call the police? I guess.
Yeah, but I guess I'm trying to get more evidence though, and then I need to get like, I don't know.
Now, fast forward to when I found out about this whole situation. When I first got on the call with her, I let her know I didn't feel comfortable with her talking with a predator, with her being underage. So I came up with some clever ideas to where we could switch off and I could take over communication and she wouldn't have to. Here's one of those examples that I gave her. Maybe we could say something like, hey, my parents switched providers and I couldn't get my number, so this is my new one. And then it'd be a number that we could text through. And granted, in that call, she did agree that that was a good idea, but she never gave over the communication to me nor Skeeter. Now, I really don't know why she never really wanted to give us over either the information for us to continue talking to him or even just saying that her number was messed up so we could talk to him on a different number. But when going through her messages in my Discord, I did find this thread of her, and I'm gonna just let you guys hear it. So someone in my Discord rudely tells her that you taking credit for clout chasing a predator. She replies and said, no, I meant like, I'm not gonna go to trial after trial to not get credited. He's literally going to jail because of me. I'm saving these streets, stop. Also, she responded to somebody who rudely told her that all she wanted was clout. And she said, if another YouTuber is gonna make clout off of my situation, so am I. TF, that's wrong to take full credit off of something. You're just too young to realize.
You're talking about somebody that is under the age of 18. Here's the thing. Gideon is desperately, he's tap dancing. He's trying to be like, hey, he's shucking and jiving. Hey, don't look over here. Yeah, no, it wasn't me. But here's the reality, Gideon. You knew she was underage. Your only advice to her should be, first of all, you do not ever text this guy again. Send everything that you have to the police and then block this guy. You knew she was DMing somebody and your advice was not block him. Block him, send us what you already have, send it to the police. No, because you wanted to make it about you. You wanted to make it about content. Now, you're saying, well, but she said this. But at this time in 2023, she was a minor. And you and your staff knew about this. You have an obligation to tell her to stop. Not just tell her to stop, but not go, oh, well, maybe you could take over here and I take over here. No, your advice is shocking. And in many ways, she is absolutely right. You did prey on her. Because whatever she knew what she was. No, she's underage. You should have blocked her. And if she continued talking about this, you should have banned her from your Discord. But you are a clout goblin. You are a clout goblin. You couldn't pass up the opportunity to make some sensationalist content. Because, as we know, your execution of going after EDP was a fucking embarrassment. You didn't take it seriously. Somebody dressed up as a fucking cupcake. You didn't take it seriously at all. You turned it into a spectacle and a joke, which is why Chris Hansen had to call you out and be like, yeah, these guys are absolute clowns. There's no way that I would ever be involved in anything that they're doing because they're so amateur and they're not interested in actually getting these predators off the street, which is evident because every time one of you were going after the pedophile retards does a bit of content, you fuck it up. The main point of going after EDP is not you morally grandstanding. It's not you making content. It's that motherfucker going to prison. And how do you get that guy to go to prison? Well, there are a number of steps that you have to take. Working with law enforcement is a big one. But you apparently telling her, hey, don't go to law enforcement. Yeah, don't go to the police because, we want to do it this way. That is reckless, and it's amateur, it's unprofessional, and you are in no position to be fucking doing this. And as we saw from Vitaly, a lot of the times, when you have these guys doing this just for content, it can not only lead to false allegations, like in the case with Vitaly, but you can, thankfully that was recorded. Rather than, Vitaly just making a bit of content that this guy was this. Because it could ruin somebody's life and reputation. Now, with EDP, he's guilty beyond any sort of reasonable doubt. We can tell from the video that he's admitting to these things unapologetic. It's disgusting. But Gideon, you need to take some accountability for what you did. You have not done that. This person was a minor. You are an adult. This whole, I didn't do nothing. Well, really, really playing up to the stereotypes there.
Realize it. And I know it's deleted user on deleted user, so I'm going to show you guys that at least this one is specifically hers. Somebody that lives in a different time zone as her, but as you guys can see, it's still 08 on the same day. They said, Kayla Hoskins, today at 8:08 p.m. If another YouTuber is going to make clout off of my situation, so am I, TF. So that's just to show that this was 100% her saying this. And the crazy thing is this isn't about a clout situation because it's really a tragic one. This man was talking to who he knew to be a 15-year-old girl, and he continued having sexual conversation, which is absolutely horrible, and EDP should be thrown under the jail cell. And in my first call with her, after I checked up on her to make sure that she was okay, I even let her know that I wanted her to be a ghost in this entire situation. And don't worry about your privacy and everything, Kayla. You're gonna be a ghost in all of this. The only people that I wanted to know that she was personally involved in this and that she had been talking to him is her parents, which I also told them.
Sure, you're aware of everything that's happening.
Yes, my daughter always communicates to me. She is, I think she considers me her best friend.
Oh, that's awesome.
And B, law enforcement. I didn't want anybody else and nor the world to know that this minor was talking to EDP. That's why me and Skeeter wanted to take over communication.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we should I'll be like, yo, could you give us your information? We'll give it right back to you. You can change it. We just don't feel comfortable with conducting the investigation with an actual 15-year-old talking to him.
Yeah, basically. Or she can get him to, like, text her, and we can put up, like, a text now account.
And well, yeah, just set up a new one, yeah. And even though I wasn't doing preg catching back then, I even knew that cases like this could take a while. So we had actually made a pact that we weren't going to go public with anything about the EDP case until EDP was arrested. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Jadeon, literally in a cupcake costume confronting EDP, and you posted that on your Instagram, so how could you not want anybody to know about it? Only reason why I posted that is because on August 27th, Kayla had texted me saying that the detectives told her that it was okay for her to post a video to talk about the situation, which looking back on now, I know is pretty weird. And I personally highly doubt that a detective would tell a minor to come out and make a YouTube video about a situation with a predator. But nonetheless, Kayla went public first about this entire situation, not only going public with it, but also dropping the chat logs as well.
Hello, my name is Kayla and I am unfortunately EDP's victim. I am 16, I'm turning 17, and EDP first started talking to me when I was 15. He messaged me first and I told him my age and he didn't block me.
So that is the only reason why me and Skeeter went public with it afterwards, because everybody already knew that we were involved in the situation. So we let them know, hey, this is what happened. But the plan from the beginning was to make sure that this all goes through and that EDP was arrested. Then we were going to post about it. And to prove that to you guys, here's an IG live that I did the day that we caught EDP that someone screen recorded, where we didn't let anybody know who we caught. All we said was that we caught somebody big. Y'all know what we do. We would tell you guys who we just caught, but legally we can't. But it's big. It's big. The person that we're talking about, he talked to a real underage person, but we can't say who he is. But you guys will find out very, very, very soon.
Oh my gosh. I need a moment. I do. You would risk letting this person know. Oh my gosh. You would risk letting this person know. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Chris Hansen? Guys, can you imagine Chris Hansen doing a blog post? All right, guys. All right, Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC. I'm going live now. I can't tell you who, but there's a predator. We're gonna be tracking down. You're gonna really want to see this. You're really gonna want to, like. Can you imagine that? Like, this makes you look so bad across so many different vectors. Because the subject matter is so serious, you need to take it serious. You should treat this like you're a professional, like you're law enforcement. You're not law enforcement, but you should treat it with that same level of respect. But what you're doing is you're treating it like you're a content creator, and you're treating it like this is just another episode, like the EDP episode. Oh man, guys, you're not gonna believe the show I got for you today. Man, we're gonna go find him, this pedophile guy, and we're gonna go take it to him. And all you did was confront EDP wearing a cupcake, wearing a cupcake, and he basically said, "Go fuck yourself," and he left. You bungled it, and all of that. You allowed a minor to continue talking to EDP 445.
Possibly a couple years. Like, that's how bad this is. But again, I want it to be known that I don't want any hate to be sent towards Kayla at all. She is a young woman, and genuinely, I would want her to move past this, man. You know, that's why I didn't want her name to be out there or her name to be associated with this, because bro, nobody wants to be known as the person who got groomed by EDP. About a year ago, she dropped a video titled "What Jadeon Did Will Shock You," and this is what she had to say.
When I realized something was wrong, I spoke to a moderator in Jadeon's Discord server, who happened to be someone I was kind of besties with at the time. But for her own privacy and safety, I won't say her name. I explained the situation, and soon everyone in the voice call started asking questions. Someone told Insight about what happened, and he ended up joining the voice call as well, and asked me if I wanted to be bait.
So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. When she made this video, it was already 2 years removed from the whole situation. So maybe she forgot how that conversation really went. But do you guys remember that VC call that I had showed you guys earlier where it was a bunch of people? That's the VC call that she's alluding to. And in that VC call, it was actually Kayla's idea to where she wanted to be the bait. And the people in the VC were coming up with ideas to get EDP to come out in person. And then Kayla decided to give herself up as tribute. I'll play the clip.
Do like the first meeting and then they not approach him.
Right.
In public.
Like in
and then
public,
get his
yeah.
confidence, and then like lure, and then.
Let me remind you, every time EDP says, well, she decided, well, she chose, well, she said, I want you to keep in your mind that when he says that, she is a minor. That not only is Gideon, but apparently his moderation team and his entire group, they're continuing to play along with this. Him and his moderation team, knowing this girl is underage, knowing EDP is talking to her, what they're not doing is having this be a one-time conversation, which is, this is horrible. Please forward this information to us so we can forward it to law enforcement and then block EDP. You are a child. You should not be contacting EDP. And if you continue to tell us that you're contacting EDP, unfortunately, we're going to have to block you. Because that's not something that we condone or tolerate here. If you have like things that could help, get him exposed, we will help forward that to the police. We will help make a case of that. So I want to make that perfectly clear that he's trying to give her accountability, but he's talking about a minor. Okay? He's talking about a minor.
Like get him in traffic.
Lure him to a hotel,
Right.
yeah.
Real.
So that would be like.
You still have to get a little.
Hey, listen,
I
listen,
mean,
inside.
to be honest, I don't mind doing it, and I don't think my parents would mind.
And you'll see here how not
She's a minor!
only the members in the VC call shut that down completely.
Well, apparently not enough. Apparently not enough. Why aren't they telling her, hey, forward this stuff to the police. We don't, we're not going to have anything to do with this. Forward it to the cops. You're talking about a kid here, Gideon. You're trying to give her, like, well, she went in with both eyes open and she knew what she was doing. You know who you sound like? You sound like EDP. You do. Now, I'm not saying that you're sexually attracted to these girls, but you're treating an underage girl like she has the agency to make these decisions, which is the argument, ironically, that EDP was making, that these girls, oh, they're not that young, they got this agency. You in your own way, are validating EDP by saying that, well, we told her maybe to do this, but she's her own person, and this is what it's a kid. It's a kid. So, you can say all of this, but every bit of the onus is on you. It's your Discord server. It's your moderators. It's your team. It's your people. It's you.
But also, the mod that she says offered her the role of being bait also shut it down.
Inside, I have
I don't know.
Regardless of how
I don't
you
know.
feel,
It would be real. That's really a risk. Like high key.
Yeah.
do
Even
not do that under any circumstances.
okay.
Where-
Listen,
where?
Because you're
I had a
Yeah, you shouldn't actually physically be there.
I'm
Yeah.
taller.
Yeah, you would be
Yeah.
subjecting. Technically, they would
Especially
be
since he talks
subjecting
about
you
weapons.
to a pedophile.
So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she's just misremembering it because it was a long time removed. And I don't think she meant any ill will or maliciously lied like that. But yes, this is the evidence. I just want to put that out there to clear the air, especially for my former mod inside. And sadly, but also weirdly, this was not the only time that Kayla was trying to be an IRL decoy to meet EDP in person. Since she never gave us the logins nor let us do the plan that we had of switching out the communication, I instead thought of the idea of getting an adult decoy. So that way when EDP came to meet, we could have an adult decoy there. Now, I had asked her to send me some photos of her, and she sent me these photos right here. With these photos, we found an actress that looks fairly similar to her. So I just find it weird that she's saying that we were forcing her to keep on talking to EDP when we're jumping through all these different hoops. I mean, if we can find an actress that looks just like her, then why wouldn't we just take over the communication? It just, to me personally, it doesn't make any sense, but again.
Well, yeah, maybe there's a reason for that, because she's an immature kid. She's an immature kid that you are expecting to act like an adult, which again is what EDP is arguing. You should have shut this down. Like, you understand, this makes you look terrible. Why did you not tell her to go to the police? Why did you not tell her that her best course of action was to block him?
She might just be misremembering things, so I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. Now, I had sent her a photo of the of-age decoy that we would be using, and she sent me this really weird message. I'm gonna read that message for you real quick, and keep in mind, to my knowledge at least, this is the second time she's asked to meet EDP445 in person. Let me read you what she said. She said, "Quick question. I was wondering why you need a decoy to lure EDP, because, hear me out, if he sees it, he's gonna leave. Meaning if he sees the decoy, he's gonna leave. And if it's actually me, I could get him to do devious things on camera that he won't be able to deny in court, you know? And since I'm really turning 16 on that day, wouldn't it make it more real? Like, I could get him to spill the beans because I feel like he'll try to trick the decoy." And I let her know, cops aren't going to allow you anywhere near that. I really didn't even know how to respond to that. Now, sadly, I couldn't control.
Well, the way that you respond is you say, no, okay, this has obviously gone too far. I'm not going to help facilitate this anymore. You need to just go to the cops. Like, I'm going to take myself out of it. Obviously, this is too far. We're not going to do this anymore. Yeah, very, very clear. You're not going to do this anymore. You're not going to continue down this path, right? That is the logical course of action, is to tell her to stop.
Control nor stop her from communicating with EDP445. And that was already worse enough that she was even in communication / talking with him. But I was going to make sure one thing I could control is that she was never going to be anywhere near the vicinity of EDP445. And this is why I'm giving her this strong benefit of the doubt, because, bro, if I had to remember things 3 years ago, I would misremember too.
However, rather than treating the situation seriously, Gideon saw it as content.
Now, it really does suck that Kayla sees it as all I saw was content. And truly, I mean, I didn't just see it as content. I saw it as a monster actually talking to a minor who's a fan of me. So I wanted to do everything in my power to get that man arrested. And I want her to stop being subjected to that monster, which is why I told her to block him.
I told Gideon every single time that EDP would send me dick pics, but he would never tell me to like block him or anything.
I want you to block him on your phone, right?
And I continued messaging him because it was very like encouraged for me to keep doing it. I didn't really want to, but I didn't want to disappoint anybody.
I mean, what are you gonna do from here? You're gonna like call the police?
And that is the entire reason why I want to seamlessly transition so that we...
Yeah, that last clip wasn't you. And the other one doesn't disprove anything. It's a 2-second clip. Like, we don't know the context of what you're saying. So, yeah, that's not... This doesn't make you look good, buddy. Pal, brother. This does not make you look good. Because at the end of the day, the number one thing, despite all of the stuff, all the stuff going on, all of the, word salad that you're puking out, you're talking about a child. Why on earth would you not tell her, not only tell her to stop, but say, look, we're not going to talk about this anymore. You're going to give this information to the cops, or you can send the information to me and we'll send it to the cops, but we're not going to continue doing this. You could have put your foot down, but your content brain was running in overdrive and you were thinking about the content and you're thinking about how you could use this. And you didn't care about the consequences.
We could take over the communication because we would do a way better job. And not only that, but a minor would not be talking to a predator anymore. And I don't want to put words in her mouth, so I'm going to let her speak for herself. But I think the reason why she didn't let us just take over and let her be a ghost is because of what she said right here.
Now, me personally, am I an opportunist? Yes, I am. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you're not harming anybody. And I don't think I was harming anybody. And especially when you're my age, if you're 16, people are going to think that you're young and dumb. So you kind of have to be an opportunist. You have to make your own opportunities. You cannot be waiting for them. But this entire situation was not that at all.
Now, I do want to give an update. So, Kayla gave me case numbers and detective numbers to call. I called the detective number and it was disconnected. And it took me like till 3 years later to finally find out what police station she went to and everything. And she really doesn't have all the updates and everything. But luckily, since I deal with police so much, I kind of figured it out and figured out where to look. And I can confirm that there is a case number associated with the account, meaning that there wasn't a report made. And also, not only was there a report made, but I confirmed with the police station that this case is currently with the FBI.
Yeah, somebody in chat says, now a defense attorney can use this against Gideon. I actually think that you're correct. I think that Gideon he's what he's doing is he's in his brain, he's like, okay, well, but she was lying and I can prove she was lying. So if I can prove she was lying, then I didn't do anything wrong. The problem here is that he's fighting with an opponent that it's a no-win scenario. Because even if you prove that she's a liar, even if everyone believed every word, the problem is that she's underage. So you allow people under the age of 18 into your Discord server. You were reckless when you allowed EDP into your Discord server where she was a part of that. And on top of that, to make it worse, now you're calling her a liar. And she misremembers. But it was your group, your network, it was your platform that was responsible for all of this. You did keep pushing her to be part of it. When you could have said, look, give me all the information you have or go to the police and we're not going to talk about it anymore. Yeah, it's terrible, but we're not going to make content out of this. We're going to try to get this guy arrested. I'll use my contacts to reach out to professionals who do this for a living, not just content creators, and we'll actually try to get this guy behind bars. You could have done that. You didn't do that.
Now, granted, even though it's with the FBI, I don't know if they're still actively investigating it, and I don't know if they'll do anything with all of this, me personally. So while we can all hope and pray that this situation wasn't for nothing, because, I mean, at the end of the day, she was still groomed, she is still a victim, and EDP needs to be arrested, I don't know if the FBI is going to do anything with the information. Hopefully, with the popularity of the documentary, plus his admission, hopefully something happens. We'll just have to wait and see. And even in my first conversation with her, I let her know that for this one, we're going to have to get law enforcement involved because we want this to be done away with. We want him to actually be gone. I'm not gonna lie, for this one, I feel like we do need to try to get some law enforcement to so this could be the end of this, So I told her to go to law enforcement. My Discord and my mod told her to go to law enforcement. And the people just in my Discord, when she first told everybody that EDP was talking to her, they also told her to go to law enforcement and report this. But I can say it is reported, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I feel like I was a victim of EDP, but I think I was mainly a victim. This is gonna sound crazy, but mainly a victim of Gideon, in a way. I feel like for a long time I was his little puppet.
I'm not gonna lie, this part of the documentary actually hurt my feelings the most because she's pretty much saying that I victimized her more.
You did. Here's the thing. What he did was directly worse than what you did. Obviously. He's messaging her. He's trying to send these explicit messages. It's disgusting. But what you did was also bad. You did. Because in this situation, you need to be the adult in the room. And being the adult in the room is saying, okay, this is a kid. I realize this is not somebody that is in control or cognizant of what they're doing. I need to treat them like they're a kid. And under that basis, you need to realize that when they're saying these things to you, you can't treat them as though it's a fully functional adult. And that's basically what you did. And so you were using this person because you wanted content. You wanted to sensationalize this. You wanted it to be exclusive to you. And all of that led to EDP not being arrested. So no matter what you fucking say here, no matter how you try to defend yourself, you got two major things. First of all, she is underage and you're talking to her and you're not sexting her. You're not doing anything inappropriate in that way. But what you are doing that's inappropriate is you are trying to coerce her to continue to do these different things rather than just telling her to block EDP and send it to the law enforcement. And then, like, we're not talking about this anymore. We're not bringing this up all the time. We're not, making this a thing because you encouraged her. She's a young girl. You're a huge platform. You're encouraging her to keep doing this by giving her attention, which is clearly what she craved. She clearly craved the attention, and you were giving it to her. And so from her point of view, she's like, well, the more that I do this, the more that he pays attention. If I stop doing this, then he's not going to pay attention to me. He's not going to give me this, this feeling like I belong, I matter. That's what you're not understanding. You're treating her like an adult and you're defending yourself because you feel offended and you feel off guard, but you're not actually thinking about her position. You're not actually taking her feelings into account. That you were desperately trying to use her to extract stuff to make content for yourself, but from a young girl, she's in your Discord, and from her perspective, because everyone's now paying attention to her. All your mods, everyone is paying attention to her. She's in calls with you. You've given her all of this attention. And then you go, well, maybe we'll use like a decoy or somebody else. It's very clear from the messages that she was very needy for recognition and attention. And you were feeding her that. And that's why it's bad. You did take advantage of her. You never, ever should have gone as far as you did. That's my take on it. That's my opinion.
Than an actual pedophile. I'm not here to fight what she said. If she truly feels like that, then that's how she feels. I know what I did, though. I know I tried to take over communication. I know I told her to go to police. I know my Discord told her to go to police. And I know we didn't want her to keep on talking to him. Also, she's been threatening to sue me a lot lately. Like in her video that she made about me recently, she threatened that I would be inside of a lawsuit.
I mean, at this point, what does Jadion even pay you for? Especially you inside. I can't wait to see you all inside a lawsuit next.
And somebody in her comment section said, hey, why are you going to sue Jadion but not EDP? And she replied with, EDP doesn't have any money. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what else to say about that, man. If that's how she feels, that's how she feels. She also made the claim that she photoshopped a photo of her on somebody and sent EDP a nude, when I specifically told her to never send him anything explicit.
No, I did not send EDP any pictures of me that were nude. What did happen when he asked me for them was that Jadion got like a lookalike of me, and I kind of photoshopped her face into Google pictures.
And a year before she did the documentary, so this is her first video coming out about her being the victim of EDP, she states in there that she did send him a nude, but it wasn't her, and that she just got it off of Google because she's quote unquote big-brained.
And he even asked for nudes, which the nudes that I sent him weren't mine. They were from Google because, it's big brains,
And the reason why this is making me so frustrated is because I told her multiple times to never say or send anything explicit to him if she was going to continue talking to him. Luckily, I was on the phone with her the other day.
What do you mean if? What do you mean if she's going to continue talking to him? What do you mean if? Like, what is this weasel language? No, you're not going to continue talking to EDP. If you do, you're banned. I want nothing to do with you. You are incentivizing her behavior. She's looking at this. Again, I will reiterate. She's underage. She's a young girl. Like, 15 when you were talking to her, about to be 16. And you're giving her all of this attention from a huge platform. Everyone's focused on her. And so, of course, from her perspective, She's thinking, I made it. I'm going to be famous. You know, I'm going to be able to get this guy, you know, to go down. I'm going to get all this money. I'm going to get all this attention. I'm going to be, you know, the next Hawk Tuah girl. Not, you know, for that necessarily, but I'm going to be the next sensation overnight. And I'm going to be the girl that took down EDP. And people are going to watch my videos. And like, you have to think about this from the perspective of somebody that's younger. Somebody that's younger is going to be thinking about this from the perspective of, you know, this immature sort of mindset. And so you are saying, well, but if she did continue talking to him, that should have been it right there. You should have said, no, you're not going to talk to him anymore. I cannot in good conscience allow you to keep talking to this guy and be anywhere near me or my audience or my group. But every step of the way, you try to downplay and undermine that because you're arguing as though this person were an adult.
And I recorded the conversation and I got her acknowledging that fact. I'm gonna roll the clip.
Did you take the picture of yourself or did you go on Google?
No. I did not send anything to anyone.
So you never sent him anything
Absolutely
sexual?
not. I think
Wow, a kid lied. Wow, a kid lied. Imagine my shock. That somebody who is a kid, who's, you know, just barely a teenager, that person would lie. Wow. Brilliant. When I told you this guy was low IQ and low impulse control, I wasn't kidding.
I will say this, you even told me not to do that because the idea was for him to like, so he kept asking, you know, so we were trying to figure out something.
I told you to never send him anything sexual, correct?
Yes.
And so we went back in the archives on my Discord to see things that she sent to show people that, you know, she was talking to EDP. And before we were even aware of the situation, I saw this one screenshot where on her Instagram, she sent him a photo and obviously it was in disappear mode. So you can't tell what she sent to him, but you could tell by his reply that it was something. And I mean, oh my gosh, man, the fact that she could have potentially been sending that stuff to him before we got involved is very, very, very disturbing. It's disturbing if she sent anything to him regardless. So Kayla just dropped a new video and I just want to give her a huge shout out because she again admits that I told her not to send anything explicit to EDP.
As for the nudes, so this is the part in the documentary that kind of weirded me out because I believe it was cut out. I recall saying that the idea of having my face like on a decoy's body, I recall saying that idea was brought up, but it was never fully like gone through with. But they cut that part out, maybe for shock factor. I did say that though. And so I don't know why they cut that out. That was kind of weird. But that's that. I mean, I never sent him anything. And he even asked for nudes, which the nudes that I sent him weren't mine. They were from Google because, you know, it's big brains, you know?
She also made some other claims as well. She kept on saying that I'm in like the Illuminati.
As for the Illuminati, that is not something I want to talk about right now. I will talk about it in code, but this is the first and last time I probably will ever talk about it because simply I don't want to die. I do kind of fear for my life.
So first, to address the Illuminati claim, first, I don't think the Illuminati is going to be adding in a YouTuber that goes out and arrests child predators. And then second, I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. And then third, to my knowledge, the Illuminati is a whole group of Satanists, right? And what's funny about that is, I don't know if Kayla still is or not, but she used to be, or she might still be, a Satanist. She had it in her profile right there. So like, I don't understand why she keeps on saying I'm in the Illuminati when she herself is an admitted Satanist. But no, it's Christ gang all day over here, man. But yeah, this is the end of the video, man. Please, nobody send her any hate at all. I think we just all want to move past the situation. And I'm going to be...
Yeah, she sounds like an edgy teen. Embarrassing. Like, that is genuinely embarrassing. But the fact is, you're treating it like she's an adult. That's one of my big problems with this video. Is you keep treating her like she is an adult. That's what you've been doing. You've been treating her like she's, 18 and can make her own decisions. And that's how you've been approaching it. And that's how your staff approached it. Because what do you mean you hear that an underage girl is in your Discord server and she's still messaging a pedophile? What do you mean that you were trying to, we're trying to play it around? And if you knew for more than a day, you should have been contacting police. You're obviously out of your depth. But if she wants to continue talking about it, you should have banned her from your server. Because obviously you should have said, look, you got to ban this guy. We're not going to allow people who are talking about pedos. And this, if you want to send us information, we could forward it to law enforcement. But we're not going to, we're not going to make content out of this. We're not going to allow you to get the attention that you clearly want. We're actually going to go in and make sure this sort of stuff doesn't happen in our server. But you didn't do that.
Be posting my reaction to the EDP video, the documentary. Everybody's like, oh, he's scared to react to it. No, I'm not scared to react to it. I've just been so busy, bro. We've caught 2 preds so far this week alone, and we got more to go. And today, I've been busy. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Kayla, man. I wish her nothing but the best. She is.
When you say caught, you mean, so here's my question. If that is true, that you actually caught 2 pedophiles, and they're in jail now, they're being prosecuted. My question to you would be, what is different about your approach now as opposed to with EDP? Because obviously EDP was a massive failure. So what are you doing now that you didn't do then? What was it about EDP's case that you fucked up?
Not only a med student, but she's also a law student at the same time while doing her music career. She's doing it all, man. So huge shout out to her. And there is a police report. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it or not. I don't know. Only Kayla can get the updates from the FBI. So that's on her. I'm not going to have any more contact with her or anything. I'm not talking about the situation ever again. Unless EDP gets arrested, then I'll make an update. But yeah, y'all, I love you guys.
Man, can you imagine if EDP got arrested? That would be fantastic. Man, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time. All right, let's get that uploaded. Let's see. P44 documentary. Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Tom Sawyer says FEDP. Yeah, you're right. Not literally, though. He probably liked that. He's gross, creep, degenerate, abominable. All right. Got that one done. Okay. Should we do a video on... Yeah, let's see. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Okay, we'll do the quartering stuff, and then we'll do the communism watch. We'll do the look at the commies. Because man, oh man, is that bad? Yeah, the commies. A lot of Hassan's best friends lost last night. They lost big time. So we're gonna be discussing that as well. We're gonna be discussing that. But I want to see if I can find. I want to see if I can find. See if I can find this. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second to find. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Damn. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to do. I actually wanted to do a video on a content creator by the name of Savi. Because this is a rather interesting story. Rather interesting indeed. So we're gonna take a look real quick at this. I got the link that I wanted. So we're gonna take a look at this content creator named Savi. Savi. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna buy that war bond. Heinrich. I don't know. I just listen. The war bond. Michael Tackman says you play Helldivers. Yes, I do play Helldivers. My only issue is. My only issue is that the war bond is just a little bit too expensive. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay that type of money for for a war bond. And I mean, you can call me Jewish if you want, but yeah, I don't really I don't really want to pay that if I'm being honest. So, you know, that's a choice. Okay. It says, I'm buying you the creds. We've been working up to this. Oh, man. It says, no, TT, we getting that war bond. How many super credits you need? Oh, brother. How many do I need? Let's see. I got 230 super credits. The war bond costs 1,500, which is like ridiculously expensive. I mean that's a lot. Like yeah, that sort of war bond. Let's see. What would be the most cost-effective way to do it? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They'd have to. How many medals do I have? I have 41 medals. Yeah, so I'm not even. Yeah, I would have to. If I unlock the war bond, I'd have to do a bunch of missions. I'd have to do a bunch of missions to get it done. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Nah, euphoric bro, need medals. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not buying it now. That's why we're not buying it right now. You can unlock Hot Shot Last Gun, or I can drop it for you. Yeah, we will. We'll get to that eventually. I got to get through. I got to get through the other stuff first, though. All right. Here we go. Brothers, how many of you remember a group called Collective Shout? Well, this is a radical, far-left progressive group that is trying to ruin hobbies and entertainment as you know them. It's the same sort of just malevolent, pressure campaigns that have seen, to the destruction of a lot of different companies, franchises, IPs, censorship, and so on. And there is a very interesting post that was put out. This was today, where they're talking about, content creators that are like global cyber terrorists. So I think this is rather fascinating. So it says, global cyber terror attack against us. 2 reports launched today at Parliament House. Tech facilitated violence against women. An analysis of the online abuse experienced by Collective Shout 2025/2026. Documents and analyses the global cyber terror attack on our all-women team between July 2025 into this year. So again, they're doing this sort of a race or gender-based communism, this sort of brain-dead, regurgitated left-wing slop that's been defeated and exposed and humiliated like 100 times over, but they're still going to give it another try. Or our all-women team. Well, your all-women team, maybe that's part of the problem. It says, published by the Online Hate Prevention Institute, the report's launch took place on the 1-year anniversary of the volumetric and coordinated digital pylon described by UN Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, Reem Al-Salem, perfect, as the most serious form of online violence against women, human rights defenders I've seen in a long time. Well, good. They need more of that, because you people are the absolute worst. And you deserve everything that you get and more. In fact, one of my only, grievances here is the fact that people like you aren't in jail. That people are in your group are not in jail. That you're not in prison for, your crimes against our civilization and the lies that you spread and the damage that you do. We are coming for you. The impact of the global cyber terror attacks against the women of Collective Shout. Collective Shout is a group that injected themselves into a hobby and several hobbies and several mediums that they're not welcome in, and tried to coordinate these campaigns, these harassment campaigns, to basically get what they want. It is a council of Karens. That's what this is. Is a more personal rendering of the lived experience of our 5-woman campaign strategy team, following our major win in seeing the removal of hundreds of games featuring rape, incest, and sexual torture from 2 major... Wait, hundreds of games featuring that? Like, are you retarded? Like, you're just framing it that way for, virtue points. No, that's not at all what you did. You are a cabal of Karens that are trying to henpeck gaming. And gamers have told you no. And now you're trying to play the victim. But here's the deal. The answer is still no. We don't feel bad for you. In fact, the more that you do this, the more that we want to see actual justice be done for the lies that you're telling. This report focuses on the misogynistic violence against rape and death threats, menacing and harassing messages, and image-based sexual abuse, including production and dissemination of AI-enabled sexually explicit deepfakes of our team members. No one cares who your team are. Nobody cares about you. This victim campaign is not going to work. Collective shout, the people that are in this group need to be arrested. It needs to be dismantled. Like, that needs to be priority number one. Now, here's the thing that I found to be interesting. It says, what is incredible about this is the continued misgendering of me, who is indeed a woman, and then writing about me without saying my name. But when you do tell OHPI to use my name, it is when other people have tagged me. You understand, because I am named, I get to respond, yes? I cannot wait to send Parliament all your goofy actions, the endless posts from Kennedy mocking men, and the lot of you defending cuties for weeks. To me personally, truly fascinating. Man, let's take a look. The cuties narrative. Oh man, were these hags actually defending cuties? The cuties narrative has its roots effectively. The cuties narrative had its roots in effectively a single post on this made by a single collective shout figure with a link to a critique such analysis of the film that she had penned. Importantly, the critique such analysis was asserted to have been some kind of unreserved endorsement, but its substance did not feature a defense of cuties, although it does correctly recognize the film's intended purpose, which was to highlight and critique the sexualization of children as valid. This is a point made. So okay. So you're saying, oh, we didn't really take responsibility and do this. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Just weasel words, buzzwords, woman prattle. Now, I don't think I can show this one because this is. I don't think I can show this one, but this is pretty serious. It says, Figure 105. 2 AI-generated renderings depicting a male in a balaclava using a knife to injure Coralia Allison. Note the use of social media tags and the affordance of reposting to amplify harm. The image on the left is a screenshot of an image that was reposted by another user, a serial critic of Collective Shout. Madam Savvy is tagged in the image. When violence, both physical and sexual, was not portrayed directly, it was also frequently communicated implicitly. Collective Shout staff received images of bladed weapons and firearms, sometimes without further commentary, in order to convey to targets harmful. Here's my question. Of this, how many of these so-called attacks and threats were actually carried out? I'd like to know. Of all these so-called, there were so many of them, how many of these actually led to somebody being harmed in real life? I'm curious. Because for years, we've talked about death threats and stuff, and yeah, it's not great. It's not great you receive death threats. But if somebody's memeing on you, and yeah, some of these are over the top, but I wonder, do you think these women had a problem with Kathy Griffin holding up a severed head of Donald Trump? Do you think these women had a problem with Donald Trump having his head severed in that, piece of quote unquote art? Do you think they had a problem with that? No, of course not. No, because violence is okay when they're doing it, when they're promoting it. But if you post some memes, well, that's a step too far. Now, let's talk about this content creator, Savvy, for a moment, that they're trying to label as a terrorist. Okay? Now, I don't know all that much about this person, but I mean, you take a look at their YouTube channel, and this does not look like a terrorist, okay? Making fun of the quartering, X money is useless, parasocial parasites getting worse. Okay, so we got Hassan. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, not that dissimilar from the content that I do. To be honest, I do very similar content to this from time to time. I guess maybe I'm a cyber terrorist. Now the thing is, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. Like, you know, like you see things from Hassan and you can tell that somebody's like off. Now I will say the only encounter that I've had with this person. The only encounter that I've had with this person was not that bad. I was making a statement that the art that was being depicted by Chibi Reviews, I thought it was disgusting. It was, yeah, Chibi Reviews was posting an image of Ben 10 and his cousin, Gwen, and I thought that was degenerate and disgusting, and I thought that made Chibi Reviews look bad. And Savi responded with a particularly hostile response. I didn't think that was necessary, but she was telling me that, oh, she was a fan of Inuyasha and, all that stuff. And, to me, I don't care. Inuyasha is a Japanese manga that was created by Rumiko Takahashi. Very, very, very popular lady who writes these, like, extensively long. But Inuyasha is meant to be depicted as, like, an adult, basically, like he's I don't know, like 16, feudal Japan, 16, half demon, whatever. But I don't think that's the same as Ben 10, who they're 10 years old. I think that there is a difference there. Anyway, this is not the video for that. But yeah, I have had encounters with this person very, very, briefly. But I wouldn't say. And by the way, having a negative encounter with this person, I do think gives me, some room to speak. This person wasn't that bad at all. Yeah, they were a bit hostile and they were rude and belligerent. But you know what? That's the internet. That's fine. But the fact is that they're going to call that like cyber terrorism. Yeah, imagine if this person was responding the way that they responded to me to them. Yeah, they probably did have like a mild panic attack because, like, oh my God, my feelings. Like, get the fuck over yourself, really. People can disagree online. It's perfectly fine. We have a disagreement. It's okay. By the way, this person was talking about Inuyasha. I don't think Inuyasha is in any way the same. I just don't. I don't think it's in the same category. But, again, that's an argument for another time. But it says, it is surreal to think that I, a 105-pound woman with a sun allergy. Ooh, man. A sun allergy? Is that like a joke? I don't know. Is that like a joke? Like a girl who stays in the basement, so she has a sun. I don't know if that's like a meme. Who doesn't leave her? I don't, based on that, I don't think that's a joke. I'm being labeled an international cyber terrorist because I reposted censorial group's own tweets. Yeah, that's very, very weird. It's very. They call me Madam Terrorist, Tiny Terror, Cyber Criminal Extraordinaire. Better watch out, or I'll do it. The worst thing imaginable. I'll show you your own words. Yeah, I'll post a meme at you. I'll say mean words to you. Yeah, it's just these people drive me crazy. Not Savvy. Not her, but the people that are part of Collective Shout. I've hated these people for a long time. They are beneath contempt. They try to play these games. They want to try to weaponize the emotion of normal people that don't know any better against their enemies. And they use these underhanded tactics. Believe me, I don't think we go far enough with people like them. Collective Shout, I think that the Trump administration she used the full power of the government to shut them down. I do. Dismantle their entire network, arrest the women involved, put them in Guantanamo Bay. I don't give a shit. I'm sick and tired of these bad agitators acting in bad faith. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And so, I mean, if I'm sitting here talking about how you're ridiculous as a feminist, you know you've gone too far. Like, genuinely, if you are going after people like Sabi and calling them terrorists, you have completely lost your fucking mind. Because again, I don't even agree with Sabi on everything. Like, some of the stuff that we're simpatico. Like, I look at their channel, the stuff about the quartering I agree with. I bet you if Sabi and I had a conversation, we'd probably agree on probably 80% of things. 80 to 90%. But does that mean I'm now a terrorist? No. The real terrorist is Hassan Piker that actually glazes terrorist. Not the people that post memes. You understand what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Collective Shout needs to be shut down. And I mean, if you look at some of these posts from Sabi, it's very clear that these people are just doing this because they don't like what this person says. And that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to like what this person says, but it doesn't give you the right to go after them in this way. That's my take on it. That's my take on it. This person seems to be against transgenders. They seem to be against false flagging. So you know what? They're okay in my book. That's perfectly fine. They're against Collective Shout, and so I think that's great. Also, apparently they're making fun of the quartering. About his coffee, which is fantastic. Okay, so I think I'll end things with this. This is the post that Sabi made. Oh, finally, it says repeal the 19. So, listen. It says Sabi's pro-femboy, which is a form of sodomy. I don't know anything about that. I imagine we probably disagree more on the art stuff than politics. Yeah, there are a lot of things that we probably wouldn't agree on when it comes to that stuff. But the fact is that looking at their timeline, everything that I've seen from their timeline with the quartering and a Collective Shout, I think that's fine. I hope that these people, I really do. I hope that eventually they do get their comeuppance. And that's not through the form of vigilante justice, that's through the government. Because vigilante justice doesn't really do anything. It doesn't solve anything. You need a societal systemic system of institutional systems. You need, basically a foundation where everything is working in harmony to deliver justice to people like these individuals in Collective Shout, which ironically, they're not individuals, they're collectivists. Yeah, you need to put those people behind bars. That's my opinion. Anyway, that'll do it. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay. All right, guys. Should we play some Helldivers? What do you guys think? Should we play some Helldivers? I don't know. No, we can't play Helldivers yet. Maybe. Let's see. What do we want to...
We always love listening to you and your insights. Great to see you. What's your reaction to that report that the Democrat Communist agenda would cost $212 trillion over 10 years? KT, the numbers are so huge, it boggles the mind.
Here's the thing. I guess I probably have a contrarian idea about this.
they're crazy. We all know they're crazy. But instead of running around saying, oh, they're crazy, just let them talk. Because the more they talk, the American people, who have an enormous amount of common sense, can see for themselves how crazy these people are. So the quicker, the crazier they get, the faster crazy they get, the faster the American people will say, okay, we don't want to go there. No, thank you very much. And I'll toss them out just the same way peak woke is gone, DEI is gone, and maybe the Democrat Socialists of America, they can go in the same direction.
Yeah, the standard polls are coming in, and New Yorkers don't like them. So let's switch gears. We've got 9 million barrels of oil a day now transiting the Hormuz Strait. That's about half what it was before the Iran conflict. President Trump last night, he said the U.S. has control over the Hormuz Strait. Iran's got 300% inflation.
Let's go. We got control over the Hormuz Strait. Okay. Okay. So we don't want to cover that right now, but what I do want to cover, actually, we're going to go over the quartering. We're going to go over his false flagging. All right. Time to go a little bit scorched earth today. A little bit scorched earth. Brothers, I got to be honest. I have absolutely had it with the quartering. This guy should have taken his licks like a man. He should have dealt with the consequences of his own actions. But instead, this guy drinks himself into oblivion, pops pills, gets this sort of liquid courage, goes on and starts flagging people, starts taking people's livelihoods and channels down because he feels personally attacked. This guy is a false flagger, and I don't understand why Jeremy can't be a man for once in his miserable life. I get it. You don't like the people are making fun of you, but yet you do everything to make sure that that happens. Because, Jeremy, let me tell you something. You're still stealing clips, okay? People are going to call you out for that more than ever now. You're still stealing clips. Right now, you're stealing clips from Robert Irwin.
I don't know what this thing is, but it looks like it's been around since the dinosaurs. Check this out.
You're here, one of my absolute favorite animals in the entire...
Jeremy, why the hell do you not put yourself... Why do you not put yourself in the top portion or the bottom portion of the video? Remove your stupid watermark and do an actual reaction. Jeremy, hi Jeremy. Jeremy, do you realize that if you actually did a reaction, that would be a very simple way to completely and totally alleviate all of the pressure that you're getting? Because if you do a reaction to a video, then people can't continue to say that you're stealing content. I'll give you an example, Jeremy, because I am so nice. Because I'm so nice and so generous. I will give you an example. Okay? One of the most popular content creators on the internet. One of the most popular. Asmongold. Okay? Asmongold gets millions of views. You see what I'm talking about? Asmongold is reacting. Asmongold is reacting to this clip. So yes, Asmongold on his stream is reacting to this, and they put it into short content. So technically, they are re-uploading the viral clip. But the difference that makes all of this work,
human being. Yeah,
his response. He's actually watching it.
Right, but now you got to buy it online and then they tweet it to you on your Facebook. $47.
Wait, this is in a movie theater?
Unbelievable. You see that right there? That's probably $50.
Bingo.
Oh, Raisinets. This is where they make the real money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. An
Yeah.
arm and a leg.
What's that, the Back Shots movie?
Oh, that's the Back Shots movie. Is that the Back Walls movie that we were talking about?
I think it's Back Shots.
Everything today is...
So, I don't even have to watch the whole thing. Jeremy, you should get the point. You should get the point. Asmongold does a reaction and usually ends it with his summation of what he just watched. Now let's compare that to you, Jeremy. Let's compare that to you. What do you, first of all, you put your watermark on there, which is pathetic. You do an intro that has nothing to do with it, and then you play the entire clip. Jeremy, there's none of you at the bottom, and then you say subscribe. You put your watermark on somebody else's content. Now, if you had put yourself in the top half of this, and you were watching it, and the webcam was on you, and you're watching it, and you're reacting, that changes everything, you lazy fucker. Okay? But we're not even here to talk about the short videos. That was an amuse-bouche. Okay? The quartering, instead of revamping his image by starting to do things the correct way, he tries to double and triple down. He goes about flagging people for harassment. Jeremy, no one's harassing you. In fact, Jeremy, here's the brutal honesty. People like myself have been trying to help you despite everything, and it's come at a very, very high cost. Look at this. Luther Morgan, okay? Luther Morgan, take a look at this. It says, the quartering is still false flagging. So, for those that ask, why am I still doing a video on the quartering? It's been months. Why are we doing it? Because he's still false flagging. He's still false flagging. Today I got one video and one live stream taken down for community guidelines warnings for cyberbullying and harassment. No timestamps were provided on the violations. For those keeping track, that's 4 videos of mine that His Rotund Majesty, Mr. Hamley, has tried to take off YouTube. Why? Why are you doing this? Like, you understand, first of all, they can appeal this. And I don't know if they're going to win or not, but I would imagine probably they're going to win. Jeremy, this is not a good look. Because if he appeals and he wins, or he appeals and he doesn't win, you still take damage. You know, your reputation, your channel, your career, and it just emboldens people to continue to felt you and smite you and humiliate you. And it says, I just noticed the timestamp too. He is up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So you have the quartering, probably sleep deprived from all the alcohol and the pills, that's going around and flagging videos, just seething. Jeremy, this looks so bad. I don't know why you keep doing this. I don't know why you keep doing this. Okay, so Luther Morgan did correct the record, and he said it wasn't a video, it was 2 live streams. It says, if you haven't yet, you can submit an appeal in YouTube Studio within 1 year. Interesting. Keep in mind that we review 1 appeal per video removal. We get that it can be frustrating, so we recommend reviewing our policies and including any and all relevant context during the review process. So, okay, so you only get 1 review per video removal. Okay. Okay. Flag it down. Jeremy, you just make your situation worse. Hey, Jeremy, let me ask you something. Let me ask you a serious question. Have you ever considered, and I mean this sincerely, actually bringing people on your show and doing a segment with Luther Morgan or me or Yellow Flash or Camelcast? Have you ever considered doing that? Heinrich says, Jerry used copyright. It hurt itself in confusion. Yeah, Jerry, you are hurting yourself in your confusion. Have you ever considered just doing a show? By the way, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, my friend. But have you considered doing a segment on your show where you bring people on every week or so? You bring on Luther Morgan one week. You bring on Misty Mochi one week. You bring them on the show. You invite them on. Yellow Flash. Camelcast. You bring them on and you actually talk about them. You talk to them. You talk about them. Have you thought about it? No. You seem to want to flag people and tear them down without actually having to do any work. Jeremy, it's pathetic. And by the way, there are more things to talk about as it relates to the quartering. More things have taken place. The quartering is getting shit because he donated a huge amount of money to Andrew Wilson's fund for the Candace Owens debate. He donated a ton of money. Take a look at this. I got to show this to you.
Now, I have personally backed this debate with $5,000. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but my biggest regret is not making it $7,000 for the lulz. If I could go back into the Give, Send, Go and edit my donation to $7,000 from $5,000, I'm going to do it. Largely debates, you guys know how I feel about them. I don't think they change a lot of minds. I think it's kayfabe. Both sides tune in, hoping to have their own biases confirmed.
So you just donated $5,000. You wish that you had donated $2,000 more for the meme. Just for the meme. And then you think the debate won't matter and that it's not going to have any impact and what's even the point? Well, Jeremy, you could learn from this. The point is that there are going to be people whose mind is changed as a result of this. Now, the Candace Owens diehards, they're probably not going to change their mind. But the reality is, them sitting down and hashing out their ideas is the adult thing to do. It's what the internet was founded on. You, of all people, should know that. But you've lost your way. You think that you're too big. Well, you are too big. But you think that you're too big to fail. Then you don't have to take this on anymore. You're the quartering. You're basically the equivalent of CNN on the internet. But you're not, Jeremy. You're not. You are jealous of all of the success of people around you. That they're doing well. That they've found community and camaraderie that you don't have. You're isolated. You're drinking a lot. You're popping pills. You're talking about dieting, but, you're falling through on that as well. And you want to blame somebody else. And they say misery loves company, so you're looking for other people to tear down, to be on your level. Jeremy, this is self-destructive, low IQ, low impulse control behavior. And by the way, we're not even done. It's like you donated $5,000, wanting it to be $7,000. But apparently you can't afford a trip to Amfest. You can't afford a trip to Amfest? Really? That's something that apparently is beyond you, right? It's beyond your ability. It's genuinely crazy. You have that amount of money to give away to this debate. But being honest to your audience, being true to them, apparently that's a step too far. It's pretty unbelievable, Jeremy. It really is. You donate $5,000, wanting it to be $7,000, when in truth, you had to beg and scam your audience for money. You had to beg and scam them and rip them off, and you think it's a win? You think it's a win to do that? You think it's a flex? Now, I'm sure Andrew Wilson is very appreciative. But the fact is, you're in no position to be giving out that type of money, Jeremy. Like, you can, I guess. But, I mean, don't ever come begging to your audience again. Don't ever come begging to your audience again. Because you basically exposed that you you treat them like garbage. You treat them like garbage. But anyone else that you think could have an advantage to you, well then, you'll pay them a bunch of money. It's pathetic. Anyway. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this real quick. I wanted to do a video on it because the quartering, he has so many things going on. He has so many things wrong. And all of it is self-inflicted. All of it is self-inflicted. You know? Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. And I'll see you next time. Okay. Let's see. We got a genuine bona fide retard in chat. What else is new? Arbiter Nemo says Templar is jealous he ain't got $5,000. Well, that's true. I don't have $5,000 to just spend on something like that. But then again, neither does Jeremy have $5,000 to spend on something like that. Are you saying that you have $5,000? Because if you want to donate $5,000 to the channel, if you're Mr. Moneybags, you want to donate $5,000 to the channel, man, what a flex, what a power move. But let's be honest. You're saying I have no money. I know damn sure you don't have any money. I know damn sure you're broke. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I know you're broke. I know you're poor. You got nothing. It's fine. You're welcome here. The quartering doesn't have anything either, and he's paying money he doesn't have. You know? But don't be a broke boy criticizing another broke boy. Don't be saying, oh man, oh, you don't even have $5,000. I know for damn sure you don't have $5,000. Let's be honest here. Let's not throw stones when we live in a glass house. You know? Oh, man. Just. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. I actually think we're going to wrap things up for the night. I think we are going to wrap things up for the night. We will be back tomorrow. Yeah, if you're a broke boy, just say so. Yeah, I think we're going to be back tomorrow. Yeah, maybe we'll do one more segment. You guys want to see the DSP, the Democratic Socialist Party? You want to see them lose? You want to see them lose big time? Yeah, maybe we'll do that segment too. That's a pretty feel good moment. Does that mean? Damn. Oof. Let's see. Yikes. Oh, God. Oh, man. All right, impromptu video. Well, brothers, big news in the VTuber community. It appears that Bao the Whale is distancing herself from her VTuber persona and doing IRL content. Apparently, Bao is like, well, now is the time for Asian women in the IRL market. Apparently, Extra Emily nearly killing somebody with a car. You know, it was like, well, Bao is like, well, I could do that. I could get a, Twitch ambassadorship by nearly killing somebody in my car because I can't drive. So, yeah, it appears that Bao the Whale is now coming out and basically doing IRL content. She removed VTuber from her bio, which it used to say VTuber, now it doesn't. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So here we have, with how much Bao has been doing IRL stuff with multiple face reveals without using the avatar, she has removed her VTuber label from her profile. Now it only exists on her @ tag. After all the Cinder drama, the Skeb drama, and the misandry drama recently, this might be a move to rebrand herself, as evidently the simp audience has completely fallen for her IRL appearance. Wow. That is, oh, man. So, if your VTuber career doesn't work, just basically go out and be an IRL thought. Perfect. Now, the interesting thing about Bao is she's a content creator that I've disliked for a very, very long time. And not only because she's just an out-and-out degenerate, but the fact is that she is somebody that is always involved in some form of VTuber or internet drama where she's crying, playing the victim, going after somebody, Mean Girls format, and then when it's on her, she's like, oh God, they're so mean to me. Like the situation that would happen with Cinder. Remember Cinder, the VTuber, where they were coming after Cinder because she was mean to Bao, and like the whole thing just completely blew up in their face. Like at the time, I was somebody that bought into it because it seemed like it seemed like something that was pretty open and shut, but then the more that you learned about it, the more ridiculous that it appeared. Like the fact they were coming after this girl when seemingly she didn't do anything really that wrong. Very unusual, very bizarre. But that, that appears to be sparked from Bao the Whale. She was apparently a very instrumental in causing that drama to unfold. So it is interesting when you see the transformation of these women that have been using VTubing. And it's something that I've said for a long time, that you have a lot of these whores that are using VTubing as a way to basically promote their OnlyFans or promote their IRL content or use it as a jumping board rather than appreciating it as an art form as it is. And I know some people say, well, I hate VTubing. Well, VTubing is like any other jump-in technology, another form of entertainment. There are different forms, there are different iterations. I think it's remarkable You take a look at VTubing, you take a look at what it is. The jumps in art and, you know, facial tracking, hands, like the technological jump as it results from VTubing, it's been huge. Where people have more interactive and closely monitored like 3D models. Very interesting. You know, I wouldn't consider myself a VTuber because my avatar is in sentry mode and he doesn't respond to me talking. He's just watching and making sure that, you know, no one's doing any shenanigans. But I think the fact is VTubing as a hobby and as a medium, I think it's going to have to do away with people like this if they really want to create something solid. Because, unfortunately, people like this, I mean, they're terrible. They are. People like Bao the Whale have so many different things where she's, you know, doing something with Muujin. You know, she's doing something with Muujin to try to go after somebody, and there's some form of drama, and there's some this or that. It's just like, it's a detriment to the space. And then coming out with this, you know, IRL presentation, obviously there is something here that is more than it first appeared. So it says, after all the Cinder drama, as evidence, the simp audience has completely fallen for IRL appearance. So it very well could be that she's trying to branch out and do IRL content because she thinks that there's a larger simp payoff for that. But if you look at the internet, it seems that there are a lot of people that are celebrating this and actually agree with me. So here we got this guy, Kurai. It says, we genuinely need a VTuber purge. The fact that Demi doesn't understand the basic concept of not wanting outsiders to come in and ruin something beloved says everything. Yeah, I'd seen this clip. Yeah, this clip is pretty embarrassing. So this is the clip from Bao. I'm going to freak it. So, jump scare. So apparently this is Bao's IRL content.
Right, I can show my face now. On the... Oh! Oh, that's right, I can show my face now.
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
Ready? Pose.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, that's something. That's definitely something. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's go to latest, because I know that there were a lot of people that I'd seen that were cheering that the fact that Bao is no longer a VTuber. It seems like it's a positive change for a lot of people. They're taking it very, very well. And so, yeah, I think that's something. I think that's something the VTuber community is going to have to make a decision about where they want VTubing to go. They're going to have to make a decision about that, because, like, do you want a serious and legitimate? Do you want a serious and legitimate hobby, or do you want something that's a vehicle for, you know, these OF prostitutes? You know, these people that are only using it so that they can eventually get enough simps and then do IRL content, maybe leading to an OnlyFans or something like that, to just generate maximal amounts of money. So here we have another person saying, I'm not sorry. The more I heard Bao and Iron Mouse open their mouths, the less I can tolerate them. Yes, it's a personal preference, so if you like them, go for it. It's your choice. I have a thing for Asian girls, and I gotta say, Bao is not that attractive. Kind of ugly even. That photo from July, kind of like 2020 Ariana Grande, if she were Asian, okay? Unfortunately, she turned out this way because I like some of her content before she became so overtly sexual. Pokemon of VTubers, normie foids. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. Man. After her misandrous takes, I didn't have any respect for this woman anymore. Not as a VTuber, certainly not IRL. They just need to farm normies because of the growth stagnation. Grift up, do collabs, farm normies, repeat. She's basically decided she's done being an anime e-girl and just going for a regular e-girl. It's over for the VTuber fans if she is moving to full-time flesh posting. So, yeah, you can just go on and on and on, and people seem to be taking the approach that this woman is reflective of a major problem in VTubing, and they're kind of glad that she's gone. At least for now. If her IRL content creation fails, she'll just lean more back on the VTuber avatar, so I don't think she's really gone. But I wanted to bring this to your attention because it was fascinating to me. It is. I do find VTuber culture fascinating, even though I don't agree with probably 99% of it. You know, VTuber culture tends to be far more left-wing and progressive, far more LGBTQ friendly. I don't agree with any of that. I think that's disgusting and degenerate. I don't think you should support trans or the gay community. I don't think you should be grooming kids. I don't think you should be doing anything with the Trevor Project or anything like that. That's my personal take on that, and I think if the VTuber community wants to be taken seriously, they'll lean more towards my ideology rather than the people that are pushing far-left progressivism, because it only leads to decay and destruction if you go down that path. Anyway, that'll do it. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay. 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 I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to wrap things up for today. We will be back tomorrow with another show. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching, for supporting the channel. You guys are amazing. You guys allow me to do this. I just want to say God bless. God be with you. And, yeah, great day.